Wow, looks like a actual normal house. Well, I didn't put my timer, but I can see the timer on OBS from where I am. Apparently Sonic Origins dropped. Hold on, I need to take a detour. Apparently this game was on new and trending for on Steam, at least for a little while. Sonic Origins, there it is. 23 of June. Oh, Sonic City, dude. Alright, well, they finally put the Steam page of Sonic Origins. Wait. I need to I need to update my Sonic CD mod, dude. Well, if it comes to that, it comes to that. Hopefully they... I mean, depends, right? Because if they get the actual Cassie ranking music this time around, then nothing for me to do, right? But we'll see. Hopefully they do it. Also, it seems that... Well, what I want to know if it's just emulated games or if it's like Taxman re-engineer games. Because what's the difference? Well, one is just same game, and the other one is like, well, could be the same game but could get new stuff and also a new workable engine, so widescreen and stuff like that, and you know, better frame rates and all that stuff. Anyways, I'm deviating too much. The long narrow corridor took them up a flight of stairs. Upon reaching the end of it, they found themselves on what looked like a workshop. They noticed that the room was filled with several mundane items, making it clear that there were multiple purposes for that room. At the back of the room there was a glass case that held several types of guns. Since we're working with, you know, regular old weapons, they were in perfect condition, as they were part of a collection. There was a gun split into several pieces on top of the workshop table. The man probably had been working on it before they arrived. A group noticed a lot of small rocks decorated in the room, as well as jar with mysterious powder inside. So, is this your shop? Mickey asked. She sat down on a large couch placed against the wall. For a moment I thought it would look shadier. Uncle Ben, it is illegal to sell weapons in Foxtrot, Mickey asked. It's legal as long as you have the correct permits. After the fire and the weapons market became strictly regulated. All of them had to be registered, magic or not. Ben explained. He looked particularly interested in some of the weapons. Yuki sat down right next to Mickey. That sounds impossible to oversee, Yuki asked. It is, but it is better than nothing. Some weapons have very complex internal machinery. They operate with magical reagents that became very scarce. Now that magic uses are uncommon, a criminal with a magic weapon could wreak havoc. I'm gonna explain again, or whatever it is. The government decided to tie every existing weapon with an owner, so that if the weapon was stolen and used to kill someone, both criminal and the owner of the weapon would get punishment, in case the owner couldn't prove that it was stolen, of course. Ben continued. They encourage people that own weapons to properly secure them, Ben explained. Who sat down on the sofa chair on the other side of the room. The chair squeaked as soon as she sat on it. She blushed almost immediately but said nothing, then to not draw attention to herself. I see, Yuki said. So, Mr. Amber, why were you so nervous a moment ago? Were you really doing something illegal here? He asked. I don't know. I don't think I want to, put in question the guy who sells weapons. Amber was looking through several drawers behind his desk. I used to work on Foxtrot Tower internal workshops as an armorer. I was in charge of maintenance, design, and creation of weapons, Amber said. He moved the belongings inside the drawer with his hand, looking for something. Sometimes when weapons broke down, they were deemed as irreparable. The pieces were sent to be destroyed. I had recently become a father and was in dire need to provide for my family. We were going through some tough times. I would usually pocket these pieces of magical rocks that were scratched, Amber continued. These kind of pieces and reagents wouldn't pass the quality standards of Foxtrot officials. Believe it or not, there are people that use those pieces for non-criminal reason. Not every single of those were used to make weapons, Amber said in a very defensive tone. If properly cleaned and fixed, they can be used in all sorts of other tools, Amber said, closing the drawers as he was rifling through. He looked directly at Bean, who was standing near the entrance they had gone through a moment ago. In the end, I still think that we're going to be discarded anyways. I've been got accused of selling functional weapons to civilians. Damn them, Amber said. He was clearly angry about what he just said. There's no real way to tell if that's true. If you did sell functional weapons without a registry, they'll probably point fingers at you if anyone got hurt using them. Those rules exist to protect you from doing something stupid, Bean said. I can understand the sentiment, but I'm not sure if it's worth putting your family in danger for a bit of extra money, Wu said. She was using a small towel chiffon to dry herself after her outfit got slightly wet when she fell on the ice. I know it wasn't the right thing to do. I'm not crazy though. Like I said, I never used those materials to build weapons. My plan was to support my family and to set my own business. I wanted to retire from any job related to the government or Xiao's administration. I never liked the way they did things, Amber said. I got caught eventually, and they said exactly those words as you mentioned. I was fired but not charged since they thought it was my first time doing so, Amber explained with some regret in his voice. It's quite a noble purpose then, Yuki said. I wouldn't say noble, it was necessary. Without going into details, let's say I hope you're never in the same position as I was, Amber said. Currently, I repair the weapons of people that have a permit. What about your family? Wu asked with curiosity. Ah, my little boy. He's 8 years old. Very handsome, just like his father. His dream is to enlist at an academy one day. As much as I would like him to stay away from that world, well, he'll have a much better chance out there than me if he becomes a magus, Amber said. I'll do my best to get him there when he becomes of age, Amber explained. He finally found what he was looking for, a small key inside a box in the corner of one of the drawers. If he showed promise, they'll certainly accept him, Yuki said. We do need all the help we can. There is a severe lack of terra being said before being interrupted by Wu. Don't start, please, Wu said. She looked quite annoyed by Bean's words. Based on everything Amber has said so far, she was thinking that maybe his wife wasn't with them anymore. Wu felt the idea of putting his son in danger by becoming terra magos is something that should only be discussed privately, without anyone trying to indoctrinate them. Bean looked away after realizing why Wu told him to shut up. He rubbed the back of his neck, apologizing silently by keeping his eyes off Amber. Don't worry about it. Now, give me a moment before I get those books in our storage room. Wait here, please, Amber said before he made his way upstairs. Make yourself comfortable. There are some blankets under the couch pillows, said Amber before disappearing. We don't plan on staying that long, mister. Mickey stood up and grabbed two of the blankets, handing over one to Wu and keeping the other for herself. Wu thanked Mickey and covered herself right away. It's not like he hasn't been up there in a while, Mickey said. She covered herself and Yuki while sitting relatively close to him. Yuki took this chance to grab Mickey's hands. This year winter feels a bit colder than usual, Yuki said with an awkward smile towards Mickey. The girl smiled back before squeezing his hand. Was wrong trying to finish this game, but maybe this game wasn't exactly meant to be let's played. I don't know what am I going to do with all this footage now. Okay. Bean started walking around the room, checking on the weapons mounted on the walls as well as the tools that Amber used to repair them. Uncle Bean, what's your weapon of choice? Mickey asked. We received some guidance at the academy on getting practice with a weapon, but it wasn't a priority at all. Bean looked over his shoulder at Mickey, who was distracted for a moment by the sounds coming from upstairs. Whip, Mickey said with a confident smile. Wu tried to look away at that moment, closing her eyes. She was particularly uncomfortable with that answer. We never gone to use a whip at the academy. Do you have any idea we could use? Maybe I'm a natural with it and I don't even know, Mickey said. Mickey imagined herself using the whip for the most mundane stuff. I suppose Again, I suppose I could give you a beginner's lesson when we get back to the tower, Vin said while rolling his chin. The more I learn, the better, Mickey said, quite excited. Amber went down the stairs and talked to Vin as soon as he was within sight. Uncle Vin, could you help me with some boxes? They're full of books, Amber said, with a slightly mocking tone in his voice. Can't see properly, so I'll light you up for it. I don't want you to stab me from behind, Vin said, making his way towards the stairs. The house upstairs has better chances of killing you than me, Amber said, trying to ease the tension between them. The pair promptly disappeared into the second floor. Ooh sighed deeply. What am I even doing here? She murmured to herself. What am I doing here? What am I even doing? I don't remember what Silver said.
What am I doing?
After a few minutes, Vin and Amber came back downstairs with 3 boxes. They placed them down on the floor, close to where Mickey and Yuki were. Anything we can investigate? A couple of shoutouts and whatnot, but other than that, you know, nothing. I think there are around 10 or 12 books on each. I seriously thought there would be less. Amber said. He stayed in a squatting position next to the knife box he brought and started opening it. He looked at Vin. Uncle Vin, are you going to let this crime go unnoticed as well? I'll promise I'll return them all by the end of the week, Amber said, smiling at him. Do you really have to call me uncle? Vin asked. Amber smirked at him upon hearing that, receiving no answer whatsoever. A couple of magical gizmos here. And this guy is packing heat. Oh, what's this? You fucking heat. Do you really have to reference the stupid comic you have? Oh, you got me. I will only say it because my brother just says that any chance he gets. God damn it. Mickey sat down on the floor and started looking through the books. Oh wow, now we can actually look at this. You need to say the phrase. Whoa, this one's really pretty. That thing's a little friend. To be honest, I forgot it was there. Should give it maintenance later. It's more older than the rest. Is this a magical weapon? Nah, it's just regular musket ammunition. If you use magic infused ammo, it'll probably break apart in a few shots. Ooh, so I can shoot it? For proper maintenance, it will blow up in your hand, so that's a no. Oh, sad. Yeah, but you know, you gotta watch out for yourself. Again, I don't think that's a really proper way to close the windows. Well, the eye closes them, but I don't know, you will expect a little cross next to the text box. Anyways, there aren't that many, but could be there, Mickey said. Yuki got on his knees close to Mickey and started looking through the box contents as well. Well, better start searching then, said Yuki. He grabbed the book right under the one that Mickey took. Certain silence filled the room while Mickey and Yuki searched throughout the boxes. Not 10 minutes after they began, Uwe stood up. Mr. Amber, if it's in too much trouble, could I use your bathroom? Uwe said. Amber bit his lower lip, trying to come with an excuse. The bathroom? It's only for clients, but he started to slowly approach the only other entrance in the room. Give me 5 minutes, he said before rushing out. Uwe blinked to eyes, perplexed at how fast the man disappeared. I think that conference doesn't have that many clients, Uwe said. She moved closer to where Mickey and Yuki were, watching them both look through the box contents. A particular book grabbed the attentions of both. Axtiop Calls. They both stared at it for a moment. What is it, Yuki? Is that book calling you? Yuki said. She grabbed the book and handed it over to him. Have you seen it before? Maybe a hunch? It's the only book that has this weird border decoration. It sticks out like a sore thumb, Yuki said as he took out the book with both hands. He frowned a bit before opening it. The book read with an illustration on the first page. It was a picture of a frog inside a cup, with a stream of water from an out-frame source that was filling the said cup. The name of the book was right under the illustration. The Frog and the Silverware. We found it, Mickey said aloud after clapping and keeping her hands together. Why is the name on the cover different though? Yuki asked. If I remember correctly, it's one of those fairy tales with a weird and cruel conclusion. I don't know what you're supposed to learn from the whole thing, but if I don't remember it, probably wasn't that good of a moral advice, Who said. Something strange happened at that moment. Yuki started to browse through the book pages. As soon as he got to a page with a text, he noticed the text simply vanished a second later. Yuki felt how some extra weight was added to the book. There's something strange about this book, Yuki said. Every page is suddenly blank. They noticed two pairs of frog footprints appear over the blank page where they were looking at. A frog's footprints? What's with that? Mickey asked. These footprints started moving across the book, as if it was some kind of magical link. Once they reached the top of the book, they suddenly disappeared. It jumped? Yuki screamed. Not even a second after the frog jumped, the page was filled with text. It was an introduction to Axtiop Calls. Huh? Yuki screamed. Feels lighter, Yuki said aloud as he waved the book around. He noticed that the golden motif that decorated the cover of the book had disappeared. One being looked at the situation with an amused stare. There was a frog, we saw it, and then it jumped, Mickey said. They both looked down at the box, noticing how one of the books was slightly opening itself before closing just as quickly. The golden decorations appeared on the cover of the book called April. I think I understand, Mickey said as she grabbed the other book quickly. She kept the book closed tight just in case. It appears there's a living fairy tale inside here. Do you think it will escape if we open it? If I open it, Mickey asked. Oh, my water bottle is not here. Okay, should I put it inside my bag? She kept her wide open eyes on the book, as if it would just slip off her hands if she got distracted even for 1 second. If you take that book, could you take a few more with you? Amber asked as he walked back inside the room. I would be ashamed to arrive at the library with such a pile of books. You may use the bathroom now, lady, Amber said to but forgotten completely that she needed to use the bathroom after what happened. I'll be back in a moment. Take care of that thing, who said before disappearing into the other room. Yuki placed Axtiop Calls back inside the box and stared at it. I stared at the one Mickey was holding in her hands. I would like to think that nothing will happen if we don't open it, Yuki said. The book suddenly started to shake in Mickey's hand. But what is it doing? Yuki said. He put his hand on the book to help Mickey contain it. Who ran back into the wardrobe screaming bloody murder. Bing quickly took a stance, ready to fight whatever was chasing her. 3 dishes from Amber's crockery were flying through the air, following Ooh as if they had minds of their own. Help me! Ooh screamed before diving onto the floor. The dishes quickly targeted Mickey, but Yuki stood in front of the girl right at the last second. All 3 of them crashed against him, breaking in the process. Yuki wasn't really hurt that much from the impact, but it felt a bit sore right away. Amber got to use a moment. Are you okay? My tableware doesn't usually follow people or fly around like that, Amber said, making sure that Lou wasn't hurt from the fall. Thank you, I'm okay. I think it's just that it isn't my day. That startled me up a bit. Lou said. Amber could see that the woman was almost ready to start crying. Amber offered Ooh his arm, which she accepted and stood up. She was very happy to see that she wasn't hurt, at least physically. The book has stopped shaking by now. Yuki, are you okay? Mickey screamed. I'll leave, Yuki said. He looked down at the broken dishes. Thank you. I thought for a moment you were hurt, the girl said with a faint smile, blushing a bit at the idea of Yuki protecting her without a second thought. First the invisible frog, now the flying dishes. What kind of book spirit thing is this? Mickey asked. Just Mickey had done saying that, the book started to shake again. They could hear a rumbling from the kitchen. Oh no, bad frog, Mickey screamed. I don't think it's coming to life, but considering we're in an armory, hopefully not the guns. They will be quite troublesome if they start firing. Get out of here, take the book outside, Vince said as he ran towards the other room with Amber following closely. This motherfucker really had a rack of chilies. Peppers, whatever you wish to call them. Mickey and Yuki follow them to find most of the door has started moving on their own. They through that door, Amber said as he placed his body on the kitchen counter to stop the drawers from opening. We did the same on the other set of drawers. We arrived at the kitchen to have her hand grabbed by Yuki. He pulled her out of the house with them. Ah! She yelped. Alright. Little magical frog feather creature. And look, more foxes. After leaving through the door, they found themselves on the street of Foxtrot once more. Mickey and Yuki were delighted by Foxtrot nightlife. They wished they weren't carrying a possessed book so they could enjoy what they were looking at. As expected, foxes were more active during this time of day, encountering several of them on their way through the alleyways of Foxtrot. Let's go back to the tower. I bet y'all know how to make it stop, Yuki said. They made their way towards the Foxtrot tower as soon as they oriented themselves. After running for about a minute, they slowed down because of how dark some of the streets were. The book had stopped twitching, so it felt like a good moment to slow down. It's been quite some time since I met with my teacher, Wu said, following Mickey and Yuki. Drinking tea with her after all this would be nice. Yuki and Mickey kept their walking pace up, with Wu lagging behind a bit. They didn't want to be attacked once more. They went down the stair of an alley, keeping an eye on anything unusual around them. As soon as they went down the first flight of stairs, they encountered someone very unusual. A large man in shining armor, even taller than being. They almost crashed into him, but the man didn't even acknowledge them. It appeared that he was looking for something or someone who caught up and with Mickey and Yuki and promptly stared at the man, entranced by his presence. Neither Yuki nor Mickey seemed to recognize who the man was. Nonetheless, they remembered his face from somewhere. Marco, I wouldn't mind, Wu said. She grabbed her cheek as if she was daydreaming. Oh, do you know the man? Marco. He's the leader of the Constellatio. Those two last syllables. What is he doing on Foster of all places? Wu asked herself. Mickey and Yuki quickly stared back at the man who was walking away from them at that point. The Ursa Major? Both of them screamed. They quickly remembered the drawings from the textbook. He looked much younger in all of the portraits. It made sense, they thought, since the book were printed many years ago. The Constellatio. We could really use have, a dark band to read this. Well, I'll make an effort. A group of high-caliber magi is assigned a constellation, an organization founded 4,000 years ago by a trio of mercenaries. Warrior musicians, scholars, alchemists, artisans and researchers with exceptional capabilities and skills. Respected and feared by many, they were an integral part of life in the old world. It is believed that the Constellatio of the old world were all killed during the Great Catastrophe. If any of them survive, it hasn't been documented. The organization revival happened a mere 20 years after the fire rain. Only around half of the 52 seats under the stars have been reassigned. Such is their influence that they control the entire country with the Nusu, an ever small area in Suhar. Because of a code established since the beginning, the Constellatio are exclusively magi and anti-magi cannot join their ranks. All of the members are equal in terms of hierarchy, with the exception of Ursa Major and Argon Navis, the former acting as a leader for the Constellatio, and the later for the Argonauti, a numerous Mago squad in charge of fulfilling the least important jobs. Even though their identities are found for secret, they prefer to keep a low profile. A strange thin aura irradiated from his armor. The alloy used was far from common. Yuki and Mickey kept their eyes on the man until he disappeared into the shadow casted by the buildings of Foxtrot. The guy was just questing over there. We were just background characters. Anyways, the tower grounds were quite beautiful at that time of day. The gardens that surrounded the main entrance of Foxtrot Tower were decorated with magical lamps that kept changing color. The strong cold winds of winter filled the garden. The group went inside the tower after identifying themselves and went to the top floor immediately. Mickey and Yuki noticed how some of the terror magic they encountered along the way were surprised by U's presence. They also saw a bit of unusual activity from the guards around the tower. Is that normal? They seem to be preparing for something, Yuki said. Maybe it's not real. I hope everything is okay. I don't want to think. What kind of problem could cause such a military activity in a city like Foxtrot? Mickey said. Do you think it has to do with Ursa Major being in the city? Yuki asked. There was a short silence. They were all trying to guess what could be happening. Let's go, I suggested. Xiao was near the entrance of her office. She was talking with someone that appeared to be an assistant of hers. Just keep things civil. He'll stay in a guest room for now. If she comes, we'll be ready for her. Xiao said to the man, the assistant then took off, walking past Mickey, Yuki and U. Oh, you're back, Xiao said. She noticed the book under Mickey's arm once they were close. I thought it would take much longer to find my book. Did it cause any trouble? Xiao asked. Good night, Xiao. We brought the frog, Mickey said, quite eager to return the book. Is everything okay? Everyone seems to be busy, Mickey asked. A question that was completely ignored. Xiao and U kept staring at each other with a slightly serious expression on their faces. It took around 10 seconds before anything happened. U grabbed her forehead in pain. Complained. Oh, it appears you have neglected yourself. What have you been doing all these years? I hope it wasn't spent looking for a husband, Xiao said. She made her way inside her office through the small pit entrance on the door. What was that? Yuki asked. He stared at Lu, who was still grabbing her forehead. She knows me a little too well. I'm her student after all. Wu explained. You could say that it's our way of saying hello, she said with half-hearted smile. If it's something between both of you, I can understand. I do something similar with a friend of mine, Mickey said. The group moved inside the office and found Xiao sitting on top of her desk. Mickey quickly made her way to Xiao, placing the book on the table right next to her. She didn't want to be held responsible if anything else happened. Xiao placed her tiny paw on top of the book. Thank you for the excellent work. The sealing spell which prevented the frog from leaving its original book fell in a long time ago. I was worried it would be impossible to find it at this point, Xiao said. After noticing their confused faces, Xiao decided to explain the situation. Right. 3 hours ago, a member of Constellatio arrived in the city. We're preparing ourselves just in case this person starts causing trouble, Xiao explained. Why would that be the case? Yuki asked. It appears that Constellatio had intention of hunt down a man, a journalist who writes for the most prestigious print work of all whom, the Monthly Insight, Xiao explained. Why would they do that? Mickey asked, quite concerned. There was an article in the latest issue which he criticized this particular Constellatio. It's questionable method of action. While I have read it, I cannot confirm if anything written is true or not, Xiao explained. Wouldn't that prove the man's point? Yuki asked. I'm not sure what goes through that Constellatio's head, but I do know that there are some members who believe they are above the law. I have to admit, that's the line. What they can and cannot do is quite blurry. I have to admit that the line between what they can and cannot do is quite blurry, Xiao explained. That explains why Ursa Major was in the city, Mickey asked. It wasn't him, right? Xiao looked at Mickey a bit amused. Mako is in Foxtrot? Xiao asked while tilting her head. Wu sighed silently in relief that Mako wasn't the one causing trouble. After all, stopping him would require an army or for her to intervene. So it isn't him. What is your plan exactly? Mickey asked. Wouldn't it be easier to keep that man safe, at least until the situation is resolved? The journalist is already inside the tower. He came to us for protection when he received a letter from a parakeet earlier today, warning him about the Constellatio intentions, Xiao said. If Mako isn't here, he's probably looking for that woman to try to calm her down. If I remember correctly, they are childhood friends, Xiao said. Mako has always been a man that follows the law. I'm really glad he's the current leader of the Constellatio, Wu said. In general, everything has been much easier since he became the Ursa Mayor. Xiao jumped off the table and got closer to Mickey and Yuki. Don't worry about the whole situation. We'll take care of everything when the time comes, Xiao said. You to follow me. Prepare something for us, yes? Xiao didn't wait for Wu to respond and left the office through the pet entrance once more. There was no response from Wu. She simply nodded. It appeared that she has no problem following the teacher's orders, even if she didn't work at the tower anymore. Yuki and Mickey waved at Wu, saying goodbye to her and thanking her silently. They followed Xiao a moment later. Mickey was curious about the whole situation, but decided to wait for the outcome to ask for more about it. Hold on. Oh no, dude, don't do this! No! No! Hold on! Hold on! Something else happened. Hey man, don't worry about it. I'm sorry. Was just taking a break from reading. I mean, you won't notice in post-production, but... I got a message and it's like, oh hey, just take care of this. Just, something, but I'll say it on another playthrough. I'll keep focusing on this one. Once they were outside the office, Mickey spoke. We met you by accident during your errand. She decided to keep us company the entire time. Dejavu has been my apprentice since she was 5 years old. She's an excellent magus, arguably the most capable anti-magus of the continent in her prime, Xiao explained as she led away. She has a weakness though, children. She always wanted some of her own, so she sometimes saw her training as unnecessary, Xiao explained. Xiao took them both to the middle levels of the tower while they spoke. I think we cannot learn something like that, Yuki said. We haven't seen each other in years, but I kept track of her through a mental link. Kind of worried that her desire to make a family will lead her to do something stupid, Xiao said. Do you mean that she will choose someone that was no good? Mickey asked to help her. Or you seem like a person too emotionally driven. She was reminded how her attitude changed when Amber mentioned his son. I'm afraid so. In the end, it's her life. I don't want to interfere much, Xiao said. After arriving at a particular floor, Xiao guided them in front of one of the dozen doors on that level. The door opened on its own without producing any sound. The room that they were assigned to was very normal looking. Every basic need was covered, and it was around the size of their apartments back at the academy. Since you brought my book, you will be allowed to take the final exam. You need to rest for that, Xiao said. Our room? Yuki asked. He raised an eyebrow as he said that. Yes, one room for both of you. Xiao looked inside. Xiao said. Yuki looked inside the room to take a quick peek. There was only one bed. Yuki blew slightly almost immediately. All the teams sleep like this? I mean, I know it isn't that rare, but... Mickey asked. Well, we have slept together before, when we were in my room to study and all that, Mickey said. She was blushing quite a bit. Why are you all blushing? I thought you were... So you were already, in cahoots in these. Why suddenly the blushiness? Oh well. Not all teams, but it is recommended. At least when they are about to do regression. A deeper connection between the wanderer and the anchor is always good. If friendship isn't enough, some skinship is required, she explained. So, so what was that talk before of no, skinship? I know it says relationship, right? But I mean, what is this? Darlie and the Franks? I'm sorry. I know this is Indie Showcase, and I usually try to not be a dick. But it's in my nature. This is the real me. Alright, shut up. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I'm getting mixed signal, Fox Lady. How do you not want to do the other? So they just get down without, without morning talk or something. It's business. Alright. Also, if you ask me, I never saw Darling and the Franks. I don't know. Well, anyways, let's keep focused. Quite counterproductive, don't you think? We always struggle to keep most opposite sex teams from going against the rules, Zhao said, which caused Mickey and Yuki to become comfortable right away. The fox started to make her way towards where they came from. You want to survive the scorched plains, you have to. All of your luggage is already inside this room. Sleep well. Oh, Zhao said. Her laughter felt out of place for some reason. Thank you, and good night, Zhao. Mickey said as she waved her hand to the fox. Yuki grabs Mickey's hand and moved inside with her. There was an awkward silence ensued as they closed the door behind them. Why? Why? All this... I mean... I'm sorry. All this time they had been closey, coupley, and And they clearly are a couple. Why suddenly is this... this becoming like this? Now we are shy. Why? Why? I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick, but like, I don't know. I'm going to say it again. All this time throughout this game, it has been like constantly a point of notice that these two are a couple, and these two like get close to each other and go along each other, and they know each other and they are a couple already. So why suddenly is this so embarrassing? I mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to explain it. All right, maybe I'm just running my mouth early. But like I say, constantly throughout the story, they just say, "Oh, and they hold hands and they stuck together." Oh well, I'll just continue, see what happens, and then, I'll do whatever I have. I'll say whatever I have to say. We made it, Mickey said. She made her way towards the bed after letting go of Yuki's hand. I'm really happy with how we turned out in the end, Yuki said. I would never have imagined that a frog would be involved in our first official job, Mickey said as she got rid of her shoes. The first of many, hopefully, Yuki said. Mickey nodded a few times. Let's take it easy for today, Mickey said with a smile on her face. These stars are aligning in your favor. Are they? It had been around 30 minutes since Mickey, Yuki, and U left the Brennbar residence. The drawers and utensils had stopped moving for good. Yeah, I'm sorry, just taking the point from before. I mean, it would make sense if the two were not in a relationship and it was just, kind of like skinship, like, oh, well, we kind of like each other, but we don't really say about it, but clearly these two are a couple. So, I don't know, I mean, it just... it just couldn't pass right through me and just say, oh, okay, I believe it. Because I don't think this will go by the time Halo 4 goes up. But on Halo 4, it's like, okay, sometimes there are things that I say, okay, I believe this. Okay, I believe this is happening. Like, it makes sense. But there were other things that is like, why is this happening? This is not making any sense. Why is suddenly this part of the story? It's just throwing me off guard. Well, I don't mean to be a dick, but I just, gotta ask because, again, the point was written multiple times. Well, whatever. Continuing. The drawers are moving for good. Being and Ember remained alert for a good measure, even though it was clear the danger was over. Finally stop. Thought we would spend the entire night fighting flying dishes and picking up the pieces. Being said, he sat down on the couch of the workshop. You really stood with this guy? I think I should apologize for causing you so much trouble, Being said. Amber was just as exhausted as Bean. He stood there in the middle of the workshop, surprised by being sighted. Don't worry about it. I'm happy it wasn't the frog and the firearms or something like that. I will be glad if you bring some new tableware to replace the few that broke. Amber said with half a smile. He was carrying a canteen from which he took a sip. The tableware? No problem, Vin said. He started to change right away and he leaned over, looking a bit more serious. Let's say I believe you about the fact that the materials you took weren't used for weapons. Why did your business end up being this? A strange fascination with weapons? Vin asked. Amber's agreement was quite obvious. He sat on the chair that Wu used earlier. I mean, I might be an armorer, but at heart I'm a technician, a mechanic. My biggest interest is a small mechanism with huge implications. My wife and I dream of developing not only weapons, but complex machines that could be used for many other things. We combine our intellect to get the job done, Amber said. Vin immediately noticed the pain in the man's voice. All the magic artifacts that you saw in the storage room were hers, as well as the rocks and dry herb collections. She was quite a charming woman, really. I never had the potential to use magic besides basic. I focused myself on learning about weapons and their magical circuitry, so that's why I dedicated my life to. That's what I dedicated my life to, Amber said. He placed the canteen on the floor before grabbing a small magical rock that was lying there. Our son inherits her magical potential, and he learns quickly when I teach him. I hope he uses that knowledge and everything we have gathered throughout the years, Amber said in a calm tone of voice. Vin listened closely to Amber. He felt a bit uncomfortable with the conversation. He was having a deep dive into the life of a man he had just met after all. He stood up from the couch. Tell your son to visit the tower when he has time to look for me. Civilians are allowed inside during visiting hours. I'll give him a tour of the place. Maybe we can figure out the type of joke he will want to do when he grows up, Vin said. He's only a kid. He doesn't even know what he wants for breakfast, Amber said, but I guess it wouldn't hurt. Do you want to meet him? Is he here? Vin asked. Phrasing! Of course, he has been hiding on the second floor this entire time. He doesn't come out when there's too much noise, which usually happens when there are customers. I don't like to expose him to the kind of people that own these weapons. People can be weird and dangerous, Amber explained. I bet you understand. I wouldn't want a flying dish to hit him square in the face, for example, Amber said with a smile. We have an agreement. If weird people like you show up, he has to hide. If he hears that I'm getting mugged, he's supposed to go get help by leaving through the secret door on the roof. Now that I think about it, it's probably not the best plan, but better than me than him, I suppose, Amber explained. Yeah, but if you're getting mugged, just let them take it. don't fight it out. That's probably for the best. You never know, Vin said. Wait here. I'll bring him, said Amber before going upstairs. A few minutes later, Amber went downstairs, along with a very nervous-looking child. This is Lua, Amber said as he placed his hand on Lua's back, thus scanned Vin from head to toes. I just told him that you work at the Foxtrot Towers and seems to be interested, Amber said, who turned to Lua and spoke once more. This is Uncle Vin, Amber said. Lua extended his hand towards Vin. The large man got on his knees and accepted the handshake. Well, glowy stuff? Well, who was going to comment it anyways? You can drop the uncle now, Vin said to Amber. Vin had never been good with children. However, when he was young, he hated when adults would belittle him whenever they tried to speak to him. That's why he always tried to treat them as if they were adults themselves. Your father told me that you have magic capabilities. The boy thought for a moment. He couldn't take his eyes off Vin's uniform. I help with a magic circuit, a hidden door. We don't use that anymore, though. Does that count? Lua said. The door under the bridge? Vin asked, slightly taken aback. It's quite impressive. An enchantment, an enhancement, an enchantment. Like that isn't easy. You got some talent, Vin said. I'm the leader of tactical operations at the Foxtrot Tower. I'm in charge of keeping everyone safe there, and to lead Terra Magi into their expeditions. Some years ago I worked as a teacher, but now I'm just dedicated to discovering new talents and taking care of the tower logistic. and security when I'm not doing my main job, Bean explained. Do you have any interest or anything you're passionate about? Bean asked. Lua began to move his tail as if he liked being asked that. I like to play with rocks. It's fun to see what happens when you combine them. I don't like it when they break though. That breaks them all the time, and I can use them after that. I like animals, but I have never had real pets. My dad's weapons are interesting, but I'm not allowed to touch them. I like to write about everything I find. I like girls, oats, and hazelnuts, said Lua with a stop even once. Well, it's a very practical child. Bean was surprised that Lua could open himself up like that. You're very honest. I'm not quite knowledgeable in the magic rocks department, but I always carry this with me, in case I need to sharpen my knife, Bean said. Bean took a small pink rod out of his pocket. It was around 5 centimeters in diameter. The strange color of the rock, along with how it changed within the light, showed that it wasn't common rock at all. Bean gave the rock to Lua after throwing it up in the air and catching it with the same hand. It's a rock from the bottom of Borfast to sea, to the east of Fusu. It isn't dangerous on its own, but if you rub it against it, it will get hot without creating fire, Bean explained. Oh, it's small. Feels slightly warm. Again, just, Anyways, Lua said as he examined his new possession. I'll put it next to my other pink rocks. So he has a collection. Lua said before staring at his father asking for approval. Amber said, you can keep it. Thanks, Uncle Bean, Lua said to the man. I promise I'll keep it safe. Also, I'm noticing that sometimes the icon opens and closes, and it's like, I'm supposed to look at something, and then I open it up and, well, sometimes there's nothing. Anyways, Bean just smiled at the boy before patting him on the head. They all heard knocking on the main entrance, causing Amber to frown a bit. Maybe is it this late? Amber said. He began making his way towards the kitchen a moment later. Lua and Bean looked at each other for a second before following Amber at their own pace. I knew you would still be here, said the moment that Bean and Lua walked into the kitchen. I was thinking she's still here, but it's like, no, she came with us, or with them. Now she came back. Okay, I thought you still will be here, said the moment that Bean and Lua walked into the kitchen. Amber and Lua had already greeted each other at that point. Her eyes went from Bean directed to Lua. She quickly approached the boy and got on her knees. You are so adorable, said out loud. She hugged the boy right away, getting carried away by the moment. Lua was surprised. Lua was surprised by the sudden display of affection from the woman he had just met, getting flustered instantly. Good night, lady, Lua said. He was kind of uncomfortable with what was happening, since he didn't know if he should return the hug or not. Let him go, you idiot, Bean said. That's just a weird thing to do. Stranger danger. We let go the key almost immediately upon hearing Bean's word. I'm sorry, I apologize, Who said. Please forgive me. Who was quite embarrassed of her way of acting. Lua stared at the woman. He hadn't interacted with many adult women in her life, so this was rather unusual for him. What's your name? Who asked, looking much happier because of her encounter with the boy. I am Lua. I like rocks. Were you the woman that was screaming? Lua asked. I don't know what happened earlier, but I did hear your voice. Hope my dad didn't do something that scared you. Blushed a bit more. Ah, yes, that was me. Who said that she remembered her scream from earlier. No, your friend didn't do anything. It's a bit hard to explain, Who said, then to elaborate on the situation. I don't know a lot about rocks, but could you show me? I have a lot of them upstairs, and in the bathroom, and everywhere, Lua said before continuing. Again, looking for things that are not here. So, I'm thinking, like, gameplay mechanic wise, should this eye be open all the time or only when there are things? Because then you have like two different gameplay perspectives. One is like you check always the first time you enter a new area, or anytime you can actually search for something, you need to be on the lookout for the eye opening. Well, anyways, there isn't much that I can show you. You have to pay attention to them and find out what they do. Listen to them and encourage them. Wu stared at the rock that Lua had around his neck, surprised by the boy's response. Encourage them. Are they listening? Wu asked. If you look at them closely, you can tell what they want. They reflect light in a funny way. It's hard to notice, and Lua said. He took a small white rock from his pocket and started rubbing it. It began to shine a very faint white light. They also like to shine. We examined the rock. It reminds me of my first years of training. My teacher had a small collection. That's when I first saw magical rocks. Who said, her eye lost in the light processed by the rock. She was feeling rather nostalgic about it. Now we're dealing with materia. Well, I don't know what they're gonna call it here. Rocks? Okay. Bean stared at the pair for a moment before being spoken to by Amber. Are you all going to join us for dinner? Amber asked. He got busy gathering plates, heating up dinner. Amber hit 2 rocks together and threw them close to a pile of stack logs. They caught fire a moment later. The cauldron was then placed on top of the stove. I suppose we could, Bean said. His shift was already over, so there was no point in returning right away. Do you like it? Lou asked. If you do, I can give it to you. It could keep you company at night. You have to promise to take care of it, or it will get sad and lose its shine. White stones like to be with pretty girls. It will be really happy with you, I think. Would you really give it to me? I would like that, overjoyed Ooh said. You have to put it close to a window, and it will be really happy. It doesn't matter if it's day or night, Lua said to Ooh. I know the perfect place for it then, Ooh said with a smile. Your son really knows how to talk to women. He'll get a girlfriend right away, Ben said to Amber as he crossed his arm, listening to the conversation from the other side of the room. He got that from his father, of course. It's far too young to understand all that power just yet. He'll be a most handsome rock whisperer, Amber said while he stirred the contents of the cauldron. Ben simply smiled. After a few minutes, the stew began to boil. Alright, it's ready. I'm just seeing the time and it's like 1 hour and a half, and I'm thinking, is it going to be like 3 parts already? I mean, I don't know, I wasn't expecting it to be short, but I wasn't expecting it to be like whatever this long is. Probably it's going to end in the next couple of minutes. I mean, it's alright, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I pretty much put myself in this situation. Well, I'll see what I do in post-production. We'll notice that Amber has started to serve dinner. I really don't want to trouble you both, Who said. It's nothing. We rarely get visitors. We're more than happy to have you for dinner, Amber said. I'm going to turn on the AC because it's getting hot. We stood up. She looked at Lua and showed him how she placed the tiny rock inside of one of her pockets. Lua, be careful with that woman. She'll snatch you if you lower your guard, Ben said in a jokingly seriously manner. I will never, Who said aloud. Lua wasn't really surprised by the response from Who. She doesn't look like a bad person, Lua said, who quickly walked up to his designated chair, who fronted at Bean, and got closer to the table. Amber sat on his chair across from Lua. Thank you for the invitation. If we could do anything for you, just let us know. We'd really appreciate your help with the book earlier, Who said. Besides new tableware, that's a given, Bean said. He sat down at the table, making sure to sit as far as he could from Who. Don't worry, it was a very interesting experience. I would really appreciate it if you could help me with Lua. He's still too young, but I suppose it's never too early to start to look for career prospects. I don't have the contest to get him approved by an academy. I know Maggie are recruited based mostly because of their talents, but there are a few filters in the end. Maybe we could get some advice and help getting him started, Amber said. Who sat down at the table while she listened to Amber speak. Sadly, I don't work on Foxtrot Tower anymore, but Xiao San is my friend. I could ask for a favor from her, and to take a look at Lua, Who said. He might be small, but he learns quickly. Lua nodded quickly while Lua spoke up. He looked at his father as if asking permission to speak. Amber just nodded with his eye closed. I want to invent things, useful things, that can help people that don't know a lot about magic, like that. I don't know how though, Lua said. I have a lot to read, and I don't understand most of the books in the attic, but I can learn. An inventor that does it for the well-being of the common folk. We need more like those, Bean said, looking at Lua while taking a few bites from his plate. We never liked how Bean looked at other people. She always thought that his attention were all over the place. She tried her best to ignore him. Sorry, I was taking a break from reading. Continue helping your dad, Ooh. And I'll see what we can do. It's a good start to get people at the tower to recognize you. Oh, okay. Continue helping your dad. We and I will see what we can do. It's a good start to get people at the tower to recognize you. Once you're of age, it will be much easier to get you in an academy, being said. Amber noticed the small glimpse of sadness of expression as she had given up on trying to rebut anything that Bean said. Something wrong? Amber asked. Oh, forced a smile with that's a few seconds. No, it's just that it's been a long day. Who said who remained silent for the rest of the dinner, as everyone finished the dishes, will remember the reason why she came back to Amber's house in the first place. She bit her lip, not knowing how to exactly inform Bean about it. After a moment, she decided to be blunt about it. Bean took Constellatio, arrived at Foxtrot, I think, who was immediately interrupted by Bean, who quickly got up from his chair. The look on his face changed suddenly. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Bean shouted, who was startled by Bean's scream. I already said I don't work for the tower anymore. It isn't my responsibility. Who said in a more different tone from her usual voice, almost out of character. Doesn't matter. Thank you, Bean said, quickly exiting through the door of the kitchen, leaving what little was left of his dinner. There was an awkward silence as soon as the door closed, whose broken voice filled the room after a second. I forgot. I'm sorry, Who said. Tears started rolling down her cheeks. Why are you like this? Who said between sobs. It sounds important, Amber said. He wasn't sure how to feel about it. Lua, could you pick up the dishes? Amber asked. Lua got off his chair and tried to be quick about it. You're in a fault here. As you mentioned, it isn't your responsibility. Amber said. He offered a handkerchief to the woman, which she accepted right away. In my mind, it wasn't that important. That's probably why I forgot. Chow will intervene right away if things got out of control, Who said. She calmed down pretty quickly, watching Lua pick up the dishes and getting them into a pile on the counter of the kitchen that was quite therapeutic for her. Okay. Sorry, your boy has issues like reading for long periods of time. Dude, you gotta do it. Wipe the tears off her cheeks with Amber's handkerchief. I'm not asking for too much, but could I sleep here? My house is pretty far away, Who asked. She had already gathered herself up a bit. It had been quite some time since she had interaction with her ex-husband. She had a much easier time dealing with her emotions related to Bean. Of course, you can sleep in my room, and I sleep on the couch tonight. Just allow us to clean up the mess, and that is our rooms, Amber said. He was quite nervous about the condition of the house in general. It wasn't common for them to receive visits. Is that okay? Who nodded. I don't want to cause any trouble. I can sleep on the couch, Who said with a faint smile. Her eyes were still puffy from crying. I must insist. That couch isn't appropriate for a lady, Amber said. Just leave it to us. We'll make you feel comfortable. I'll go get my bedroom ready. Lua, don't let her sleep on the couch, Amber said before leaving the kitchen. You fucked boy. Lua gave his father a hand salute. You don't want the couch, it's horrible. Let my dad sleep on it. He's punished for not fixing it, Lua said. He was way too sincere for his own good. Whenever Lua talked to she felt happy inside. It was a strange, warm, fuzzy feeling. I always wanted to have a child like you, but I think it's too late for me, Who said. She sighed silently, looking at Lua with the same sad expression. But that's the kind of things the old lady at the bazaar would say, Lua said. You're not an old lady. I wish that was the case, but I'm much older than I look. When you use magic, your aging slows down, which worked out pretty well for me. The moment you stop practicing magic, you start to age as normal. And I have been very consistent about that as of recently, Who explained. Why would you stop using magic? Lua asked. He was genuinely confused about why someone would simply stop using their magical potential. Do you not like it anymore? Did you get bored? Lua asked. I retired some years ago. I live a very boring life, just watching the days go by. There's no reason for me to use magic anymore. I was trained to fight, so that's where more of my magic skills are, Who explained. Maybe we could do things together, like growing a garden or collecting magical rocks, or maybe fireworks at night, Lua said, concerned about U's well-being. Those are all very good ideas, maybe. I just lack motivation. A reason to wake up every night, Wu said. Both of them remained silent for a moment. Thank you for listening to me, Wu said after noticing Lua's intense stare. She finally smiled, which caused an immediate reaction from Lua. If you ever feel like doing anything, just tell us. I'll figure out how to make fireworks, Lua said. Let's not tell Dad about it though, he hates fun. Keep collecting magical rocks and making fireworks just like Minecraft. Really? Yeah, really. Sounds like a date, I said. A date with fireworks. How many chapters? I know I just look at the achievement thing, but I mean, well, we took one chapter down. I'm just going to save here. Post-production is going to be a nightmare, but you let me figure it out. No, don't load, dude. Don't load. Overrun. Okay, little UI thing over here. Because how do I say this? When it says override and question mark, and there's a option right under it, my instant is like, bro, it's like a yes or no question, so I just hit whatever is there, but it's not. So how to fix it? Either just put override file here, or just override without the question mark, or if you're going to put the question mark, just put question mark next to load. So it's like, oh, okay, so you're asking me. Override. You see, like this, yes or no? Yes. Okay. Well, I don't want to sound like a dick. I know that I said that before, but I think I liked more the secondary characters interacting than the main characters. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we have yet to get to the meat and potatoes of the story, but I don't know. I like that little moment with the secondary characters better. Well, I don't know. Again, maybe we're just yet to pick this up. And like I said, maybe it's just me reading a visual novel instead of, just reading at my own time. What I wanted to do in the showcase. Oh well, I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but I took a figure. Anyways, whichever. Thank you so much for watching. Guess I'll see you when I see everyone. Take care, and remember, drink water. And my boss was calling me, but it was something else. But I'll tell you about it on other playthrough. Drink water, take care, and well, you should, I bought like the art for this game and also the music. No particular reason, other than no particular reason. Anyways, see you.